the Detour Lions obviously absolutely dominated and annihilated the Washington Commanders. I don't think anyone ever really felt that this game was going to be close. Uh, I don't know who would have thought that the Commanders had any type of chance at this game. Um, Under normal circumstances, I'd really not care much about a game like this, especially from the Detroit Lions, because I always talk about when you're playing bad teams, when you're playing backup quarterbacks and injured teams or whatever. Uh, I expect the Detroit Lions to be able to win easily. I expect them to roll teams. That's what they consistently do. And it never really tells me anything about the team because it doesn't matter to me when you dominate a bad team. Like, it just never means much to me. And I always have to give that speech because sometimes people, if I don't like celebrate and elevate a win to like epic proportions, people get angry. And it's just like I'm very consistent about that. But considering what the Lions had last week, uh, and considering how some of these games have unfolded a bit for the Lions, I really appreciate a game like this, especially because not only was it a big win, but it was a flawless win, a flawless victory. As a joke, there's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to poke holes in. Like the Seattle Seahawks, for instance, also dominated 44-2, but you could point to a lot of like weird, bizarre things that happened. Um, but the Lions 5 for 10 on third down, 2 for 2 on fourth. They had a 546 total yards in only 9 drives. They went to the red zone 6 times, 4 out of 6 converted. They had 3 penalties for 1 yard. Confused how, I don't know how that actually officially happened. And you rolled the Commanders, and it wasn't because it was just like endless turnovers and mishaps by them. I mean, they weren't good by any means. I mean, they were 3 for 3 in the red zone. So I guess if there's one thing that you want to be like, hey, your red zone defense wasn't good enough, you know, against Marcus Mariota, it's like, if you're really trying to look for something, I suppose. But I mean, this was straightforward. Jahmyr Gibbs was obviously a beast. 15 carries for 142 yards, 9.5 yards per carry. Obviously, a chunk of that came from the 143 yard. But still, David Montgomery, 15 carries for 71 yards, 4.7 yards per carry. Jared Goff, again, flawless game, 320 yards, 9.7 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns, 0 sacks, 135.9 passer rating. Again, it does just for my own sanity, needs to be emphasized just how bad of a team this Washington Commanders team is right now, and how badly banged up and how not good they are, missing all of their pieces, and who they have to work with, and again using a backup quarterback. So that's why a game like this just tells me very little. And I just sometimes these games can be fun if there's people who are kind of talking about like, oh, I think Detroit could lose this game, which is like, for instance, that's what Colin Cowherd did when Seattle played Washington. And so like it made it a lot more fun to be like, I can't believe you actually think the Seattle Seahawks are going to lose this game. And so when they won, it was kind of like, that's right, like you really thought they were going to lose. And so like there was like there was kind of like a chip in your shoulder or something to kind of just be like, man, the blatant disrespect. But like, I don't think I came across a single soul who was going to say that the Detroit Lions were about to. I wish they were, because then that would have been fun. Honestly, I wish I came across a clip of like Nick Wright saying it, or like Brute like did any. I don't think any of them had them on like upset alert or anything like that. I mean, if they did, please let me know in the comments and I'll try to find that. I don't recall ever coming across that. So again, a game like this is it's just so straightforward, so simple. In these types of games, at the very minimum, I just look for like, are you like making mistakes? Did you force the ball downfield when you shouldn't have? Like, was it a weird play call? Like clearly the game was obviously um out of control, like out of reach for the Commanders pretty early on. But did you have your own set of mishaps? did you have 8 penalties for 55-yard? You know, like something's dumb where you're just like, what are you even doing right now? And they don't, and they don't. And the Detroit Lions almost never do in these moments because they're such a buttoned up team. And when they're playing any type of inferior opponent, it's just like they just dominate. It's been very consistent over these last few years. So, um, you know, it's a good win. It's an important win. It's a little bit of a bounce back win, but against an opponent that's just clearly not even close to on your level. And so, you know, I always look for games and look for moments too. So I can really learn more about a team. So I can just really continue to gather information. And you know, fortunately slash unfortunately for a team like the Detroit Lions, a game like this just tells me nothing because it's just like there's just no information to learn when you're playing a team like the Commanders when you are the Detroit Lions. So but right now the race is tightening up for sure now, especially with the Bears win over New York. Obviously you have the Packers playing on Monday, so we'll see how that necessarily unfolds. Guess either way. So I guess if they win, then obviously that'll still continue to give them to have that advantage because of that tie. But if they lose, then they will officially, you know, lose that and drop down. So yeah, I mean everything is still really in play right now for the Lions, especially if the Eagles lose because the Bucks are 6-3, the Seahawks are 7-2, the Rams are 7-2. So that's first place for the Rams, Seahawks. The Bucks are still 4, and when I mean like playing for the 1 seed and first round bye. Eagles 6-2, which again maybe they're 7-2, and then they join everyone else in that party and they have the tiebreaker. Or against or they drop and now everyone's just at 6 or 7 win. I mean, either way, everyone's at 6 or 7 wins except for if the Packers lose. So everything is right there, man. Like that's why a win like this is still important. Even if there's not like actual knowledge to be gained from a game like this, it's still important to still win every single game you're supposed to win and not have any of those random. How did we let that game slip away from us? Just like what happened to the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Texans, what the Packers did against the Panther, right? When you let some of these games slip away from you, you're just like it could have devastating consequences. And 99 out of 100 times, the Lions just don't let those types of things unfold. And so I could see the Lions be in a very similar situation, how they were in last year, where it's very much like you win this game and you're the 1 seed, you lose this game, you're the 5th seed now or something. Like everything is so between the Eagles, the Packers, the Lions, the Bears, the Bucks, the Seahawks, and the Rams. Like everything is so congested right now. Everything. It's pretty wild. So anyone who slips up, anyone who makes a mistake, anyone who just drops a game that they're not supposed to drop, it has devastate there. There's no wiggle room. There's no margin of error right now with how these games are unfolding. And so a game like this is really important. So credit to the Detroit Lions for taking care of business. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about this win over the Washington Commanders? How do you feel about it right now? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next.